To Sunday Breakdown Live with Great Touch for a Big Lad.
Yeah,
Craig is there.
both here, aren't we?
I know you can hear us. Let us know your thoughts on what is probably the biggest weekend of the footballing season so far. So much to talk about. Let us know what you think about your team in the comments and we'll read them out and talk about them. Craig, if you don't know, is a Stoke City fan. I'm obviously a QPR fan, so we won't talk about QPR too much. We lost 3-1 yesterday and I wasn't very happy about that. But Man United, Man City fans, Liverpool fans, I really want to talk to you guys after the game against Everton because, wow, you absolutely destroyed them. Battered them. It's incredible. 23 shots to 3, and somehow Everton got a draw in that game. Thoughts, Craig?
It's weird because in another game you look at Liverpool-Everton and if they'd have scored that goal where Mane should have squared it, they could have done them 4-5 easily today. But they've only got themselves to blame ultimately, haven't they?
Yeah.
You've got to finish them opportunities, them chances, and you're only going to be as good as the amount of goals you score, which sounds ridiculously obvious and stupid.
True.
But it's true, isn't it?
Joe5494, get your comments in and let us know your thoughts on it. And here's the first question for you in the comments. I'll put a poll card on this video once it's over as well if you're watching after the live stream. Was it a penalty? Joe5494 says definite pen. Maybe let's canvass it like we normally do on Sunday Night Breakdown. Y or N, yes or no, was it a penalty? So for those of you who haven't seen it, Everton did nothing the entire game. It was, in the long run, Everton fans, I think you've got to be a little bit concerned with the way that Everton have played those kind of games because Wayne Rooney on the right, it was embarrassing the way that he had to do doggies like that. And you actually, weirdly, the goal and the penalty came from him being in that right-hand channel, but they were so bad and he was run ragged. If you're going to play Wayne Rooney in that game, you can't play him right wing in such a defensive formation.
They can come away from that performance, that result, being happy with getting a point in the derby away with Liverpool and all the rest of it. But that was a shocking performance, wasn't it?
It was awful. It was.
The fact they snatched a point and it'll be a dramatic point and a well-earned point, but they played awful.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
One of the guys in the initial comments before we started doing the stream was saying it's the worst Everton side we've seen at Anfield in 25 years.
When he says side, he means performance, surely.
Because
on paper, that's a decent-ish side,
True.
Isn't it? Yeah,
True.
Not side performance, surely.
Stonewall Pen says, Queasy James, if Everton won was a pen, then City should have had about 4 pens, says Dean Hope. I think generally it was pretty clear that for me, it wasn't a penalty. Rooney, unbelievable ball, and that's what you can get with Wayne Rooney. When he does get a bit of time and a bit of composure, he can cut up a team. And I think him and Calvert-Lewin look like they might get a bit of a decent partnership there. He was a great assist for the goal against Huddersfield last week. But Calvert-Lewin has taken a decent touchdown. For me, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's taken that touch and then he's looked for Lovren and he's gone down. It feels like a bit of a dive for me, but
I agree that it's a contentious at best penalty, but Lovren has been so stupid. He shouldn't give the referee that decision to make. If you look at it from a certain angle, if you look where the ref was, he does lean and push into him, and why is he doing that in the penalty box?
Yeah, no, I get it.
He's giving him kind of that. Well, rule 1 in football as a defender: don't push the opposition striker in the penalty box, and he's done that. So he's playing with fire, and I don't probably think it was a penalty, but he certainly gave the ref that decision to make.
Yeah.
That was simple defending. Just kind of jockey the man. He was going away from goal. It's awful.
Be careful.
And Lovren went nuts complaining at the ref, but it's his own fault. He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Joe5494 says contact equals pen. Toffee TV, Everton fan channel, 7 points from last 3 games. Clear pen. Everything else doesn't matter.
But surely they've got to consider that was a poor performance. Do Toffee fan TV consider that was a poor performance?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know, Everton fans. Are you happy with that kind of performance? Surely not. I guess you're right. When you go away from home and you're playing at a place that you haven't got a win since 1999, then maybe you do take a draw. Maybe. But what I think you've seen there a little bit, and I like Allardyce, and I think he can take Everton a decent way, but what you're going to have is a bit of a negative ceiling.
Yeah.
And that's what you saw in that game. I mean, bottom line, Lovren has made a mistake there. Mm-hmm. But Liverpool, that game should have been dead and buried. You've got Mane's had an amazing chance when they've gone 1-0 out.
So selfish. What minute was that in? The what?
46 minutes,
40
just before half time.
Square it, and you've got a goal 2-0,
Yeah.
and you will go on to batter Everton, guaranteed. That is horrendous play from Mane.
Yeah, and a missed opportunity for Liverpool. The top 6 sides, a lot of them struggling this week. We'll talk about Stoke City and Spurs. It was only them and Man City who got maximum points this weekend, which is impressive. Impressive for those two. It's great for those two who meet each other in a couple of weeks. But for the rest of them, a massive missed opportunity when you've got Man United or Man City who were going to drop points.
Yeah.
Liverpool, I think The one thing I would say, let me know what you think about this. Salah, you take him off when you're 1-0 up. Should you be doing that on a player who scored 19 goals in 24 games? He's clearly your best player, and the game's not over yet. As comfortable as Liverpool were, should you be taking him off in that game?
I don't get this modern management philosophy of resting players and keeping things fresh. If you've got, for start, is it Coutinho and Firmino on the bench to start with? I just don't get that. You find a way of getting these people in, and taking Salah off at 1-0 is dangerous, and it completely backfired today. He was running it for me a little bit. He was creating chances. Ridiculous decision.
Incredible goal from him, shows the quality he's got, and that's why for me should have stuck with him. Yeah, Toffee TV are back. Losing 4-1 at Southampton is a poor performance. Today was an outstanding defensive display.
Was it? They created chance after chance after chance.
Again, this is the beauty and the guarantee that you have when you bring in Sam Allardyce. Oh, the stream's got a bit weird there. Don't worry, hang on, I'm going to sort that out. Should be okay. Maybe it won't. Don't worry, forget that. The thing you've got with Everton is that, and Allardyce, is that you're going to play percentage football. If you're playing percentage football, then you're going to make less mistakes. And if you make less mistakes, you're going to concede less goals. And through all of that, life's going to get a bit easier and you're going to save points. Yeah. So I kind of understand.
I can appreciate the reason Sam Allardyce played them sort of tactics, because they saw, obviously, Liverpool batter Spartak Moscow 7-0. He played them narrow 2 banks of 4, which is all well if you do defend well, but ultimately they didn't defend well, did they?
Sorry, I'm really struggling with this.
But they defended poorly. I don't agree with a decent defensive display comment at all, to be honest. They were lucky to come over a point.
Yeah. Dean Hope says, I don't want us to take Salah off. Have a tenner on him to score 20 Prem goals at 100-1. I think you'll be fine with that. You should be fine.
Get spending the money. That's in the bag.
Weird comment there as well. Callum Raffa, imagine being an Everton fan though, watching every derby. I guess you still haven't won that game since 1999. But I think you would have taken a point before the start of it, and certainly you would have taken a point a couple of weeks ago. Let's move on to the Manchester derby. Let's know your thoughts on the game, and we will read them out. 2-1 to Man City, and it was so comfortable.
I feel the 2-1 flatters Man United, that scoreline. They made Man United, who are a decent side, they're second in the league, and tongue-in-cheek slightly, but not far off, they made Man United like a pub team. I really thought that. I've not seen somebody go to Old Trafford and absolutely dominate the ball, the philosophy. You saw the Man United players were panicking, they were getting the foot through it, they didn't really know how to control the game. And who was it, Man City have done that to Chelsea away and Man United away.
Well,
they look at differently. It's like a cup game.
Yeah,
it's like a cup game.
And for what was weird, we were watching the game, and I was thinking, oh man, first off, I kind of had this preset way of thinking that I was like, oh, Man United are hanging in here, but you're right. This is first in the league versus second,
and it felt like honestly a cup game where you've got Man City being the Premier League team going away to someone in League 1, 2 or the Championship. They absolutely dominated the ball, dominated the possession. Should have been more. Man United was so fortunate to score.
Yeah.
So fortunate to score.
Well, the goals were so poor in what was a game that filled with a lot of quality in terms of the way that Man City were playing. De Bruyne and Silva were great. Sterling as well, moving into more central areas and picking up the ball, and they just couldn't deal with them at all. Man United, on the other hand, zero creativity. I think we're all hoping when you get big Sundays like this, with these huge games, you're hoping that there's going to be some excitement in both games. But bottom line was, what you were expecting from the Merseyside derby, you saw, and what I was feeling for the Manchester derby was that without Pogba, Man United were going to have no ability to carry the ball with any kind of composure to take the game to Man City. And although I really like Lingard, and I think he does a lot of good work, he's that kind of player that you play when you know you're not as good as the other side.
Yeah.
And
just to run about a bit, you know.
And to Harry, and he did that a few times, and he made them panic a tiny bit, the Man City back line, but they were just miles
right.
off.
When Man United won the ball in their own kind of defensive third, the gap between the Man United defence and the Man United strikers was huge. There was nothing, there was no bridge in the middle, wasn't there? They got the ball, panicked, kind of launched it, went for quite a long direct pass, and they were quickly swamped, the Man United strike force, and it came back again. It was bizarre to think you were watching first versus second.
Yeah.
Absolutely bizarre.
Let's have a look at some of your comments. Right. And if you want to talk about any team, let us know your thoughts and we'll read them out and have a chat about them. Doran's lie, Lukaku is shite. I even said this when he first moved to Man United. RGS 96, what a fraud Lukaku is. What else? We beat Cameron Dempsey. We beat United. We can go unbeaten, I think. Well, that's two things that we do want to talk about. Callum Rafa, Lukaku offers nothing. The flipping lum. Not really sure what lum means. Hopefully I haven't said anything too bad. Wade Davis, I'll laugh at United. We always do anyway. What's one more? Ha ha ha. Nothing. LFC Spectre, that Merseyside derby is disgrace. Neverton FC, shame on them.
Neverton FC, shame on them.
So they made no effort, essentially, to attack in the game. I think that's what he's getting at. Jordan Rainey, Man United parked the bus. Harry, where has he gone? Oh, he's disappeared. Sorry. Herrera, Mr. Ashley, I would agree with this. Herrera is a little shit too. Yes, the little dives, and he's looking for every inch, which you see sometimes in players from La Liga. They have that kind of, and certainly there's a lot of like Rojo for Man United as well. Those sort of Latin players, I guess, that understand the kind of the gamesmanship.
They have got that sort of mentality, haven't they? Leaving yeah.
Lukaku, then, let's talk about him. I thought he was... Do you know what it looked like? It looked like it was Everton last season playing against a decent team, where he was isolated, but ultimately his hold-up play, for a guy that big, and for a guy who scores that many goals, the other side of the game, he has to be much better than that for me. He was very poor today. It would be forgiven if he'd got that goal. Of course, that was the big chance, and I'm sure Mourinho's probably talking about that in his post-match now, how they had that great chance, and Lukaku's... He's done all right. He should be finishing it.
I'm not having... As much as people say that's a decent save, and it was, for me, that's all about the strike and missing opportunity all day long.
Fair enough.
I mean, he struck the ball. When you look at the whole goal, the only place he doesn't want to strike is the face of the keeper, and he's managed to pick out. That's shocking from Lukaku. Yeah. But it's not that he's a defender in any sense. Defensively, he was shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Both goals were Lukaku's indirect fault or direct fault for the second anyway. The attempted clearance Lukaku tried for the second goal was awful.
Yeah.
That's like if I attempted to play.
Yeah,
I cleared it like Paul is that. It was shocking.
It was...
He fit through it.
Yeah. He can't. And do you know what? That's a huge part of the game as well. You're going to have these big guys who, when you come back for defensive corners, you've got to offer... Well, hopefully you can offer something. I mean, generally, if you're a professional footballer, you should be able to clear
Get the ball above the height of a player.
Yeah. And it's cost them, actually.
Yeah.
You know, him not being able to score at one end, him having a nightmare at the other end, where he could have been stronger against Otamendi, and the second goal is just awful technique, has let him down in a huge way.